September 2021 seems like, uh, on its last legs, and it's amazing that we've come this far. And we're still together. It's 36 weeks of quizzing, which is fantastic. And well, we have another set of 10 very interesting questions for you. There are a couple puzzle questions, a few true and false, and a few multiple choice questions. You get 20 seconds for the true or false, you get 30 seconds for the multiple choice, and 1 full minute for the puzzle. Those of you who've been quizzing with us know that it's quite a roller coaster ride, and yeah, that's really all there is to it. And you all need to know. Any of you who are new to this platform, please remember you need to log into www.kahoot.it, put in the game pin, and the game pin is in the chat box. Muskan and Meenal will help you out with that if you have any problems at all, and you're pretty much good to go. Now, who brings you the India Fact Quiz Game of Facts? Well, it's powered by India Spend, and we're supported by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And why do we do what we do? Well, it's very simple. If you know the facts and if you have data and evidence, then your ability to think about certain things become much more stronger. Your ability to make decisions become much more sounder. And all in all, life just looks very different when you look at things from the perspective of hardcore data and facts and evidence. You're not really getting swayed by rhetoric and opinion, which is typically what happens to most of us. We all have our own cognitive biases. People that we love very much, all very well intentioned, tell us things, and we kind of believe it, and we kind of get swayed into that way of thinking, which is all in all a little flawed. So, what IFQ can do for you is just correct a few of these preconceived notions and biases. All right. And what else do we have for you? Well, we've got a whole bunch of exciting things coming up. The immediate one starts on September 27th. Please make note of it. It's called Media and Democratization. It's by this think tank called Rice in a House, which is really made up of very young people. So it's a youth-led think tank. We do not have many of those, I would argue, in the world, rather, let alone our own country. So it's very interesting the kind of things that they're putting together. It's supported by the Foreign Correspondents Club, and India Spend is the media partner. IFQ is going to be doing a whole bunch of quizzes at this workshop. So it starts on September 27th. It's for about 3 days. There's a essay competition, you have a workshop, and you also have panel discussion. So whatever works for you, join in for that, and it's going to be some very interesting learning. You're going to meet international speakers. I'm not going to sell it anymore. You sign up for it, and I'm telling you, you will not regret it. All right. Especially for those of you who are interested in the world of journalism or would like to be a journalist at some point in your life, definitely this is made for you. Okay, so with that, I am now pretty much ready to share my screen. Just one word of caution. I'm going to very quickly, as soon as the poll questions are over, lock the game. So no one else is going to be able to enter, which is good for those of you who are here early. But it's just that we need to ensure that the whole experience is seamless and we don't have bots bothering and botching our quiz midway. Okay, now just very quickly, what do we have at the end of this quiz for you? It's a very special book. I absolutely fell in love with just the cover of this book. It's called Lady Doctors by Kavitha Rao. Now, Kavitha Rao is a journalist and a freelance writer, and this is her tribute to women doctors of India who really were doctors at a time when there was no place for women to be in that profession. And this is from the 1830s to the 1930s. She's covered 6 extraordinary lives of women who went on to become doctors. In fact, one particular one stood out for me, and she was Rukma Bai Raut. In fact, Tilak, otherwise a freedom fighter, really went in loggerheads with Rukma Bai because she felt she did not deserve to be a doctor. It was a male profession. So, really, there was at that level um, a real fight for women to be in this profession. And I think that battle still continues. But these tribe of lady doctors did make it a lot easier for more women to come into the profession. All right, so with that, I'm now going to share my screen and just very quickly want to thank you all so much for joining the Game of Facts. Thank you, Anuj, Sri Harshita, our last week's winner, Sai Chandra, Sukla, Kartikeya, Shreyan, Saurav, lots of earlier winners as well. Padmaja, Rishabh, Kishore, Sahil, Sharvani. Nice to see you after some time. Gaurav, Adya, hi Adya. Dipankar, always welcome. White Tiger, Kef, Soham, Pami, Madan, Vanshika, Darshan, Udit, Prem. Welcome everyone. And now I'm going to get into the usual poll questions that we have. We always come up with these fantastical situations and then we ask you your opinion. No scores for this. You're not going to get judged for your answer. It's just to get you warmed up to just practicing a little bit on the game of facts. All right. And then after that, after the three questions, we get straight into the quiz. So here we have it. And like I said, I'm going to lock this quiz at some point. The first poll question coming up, and this one is a multi-select. Are you prepared to use only public transport? We're asking you whether you're ready to give up a car forever. You only use public transport, yes, but if it's reliable, yes, but if it's safe and clean, and you want a bit of both. You want your own car, why not? And you also want to use public transport. All right. So I think clearly, and I think it's only fair that public transport can become a viable option if it is safe, if it is clean, and if it is efficient. Then yes, why not? I think a country, and I'm not. This is not my quote by any chance. A very wise person said that you can only tell whether a country is progressing by the number of rich people that use the public transport. Right now, I don't think we're really progressing very well on that, but we really have to make public transport appealing enough for more of us to adopt it. All right, we're getting into the next poll question now, and I'm sorry, we had a few slides that have come in the way. What would you opt for? Bicycle to work, take the metro to work, drive to work, or work from home? What would you like to do? Okay, I think it's absolutely clear, and there are enough and more studies that are coming up saying that we pretty much eventually settle down to working from home and like that way over everything else. And of course, yes, I think bicycling to work tops logically, and then of course we have drive to work, and then metro to work as well is sort of very close. Okay, we have the word cloud coming up, and we always love what you do for this. So all we're asking you is that one thing that you would do or you do already to make the world a better place. Is it not use plastic? Is it um, you know uh, turned vegan possibly? What is that one thing that you have done or you do to make the world a better place? It's always so fascinating, especially when the word cloud is bubbling up. I just can't wait to see what's there. Okay, so apart from playing IFQ, I think minimizing trash is very important. Keeping quiet, planting trees, no plastic, kindness. Thank you so much for that. Peace, devoting time for good, growing trees, planting more, not littering, being sustainable, removing sadness, helping others, the truth. I think the truth is just so under. If we all just did that and we all just expected that from everything around us and everyone around us, things would be very different. Well, facts is just, the same as truth in a way. Healthy criticism, cutting down on meat, clearly that is one great contribution we can do to the world, especially in stopping greenhouse gases, stopping pollution, sanitation. It's fantastic. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. All right. So with the next question, we're into the quiz. Like I said, true or false is 20 seconds, multiple choice questions, 30 seconds, and then you get 1 full minute for the puzzles. But of course, we all know the puzzles are the really difficult ones. Okay, the first true or false. More students drop out of secondary school in Uttar Pradesh compared to students in Gujarat. We're talking about ninth standard, 9 to 10 standard, that's the secondary class, and we're asking whether this is true or false. Okay, this is a very fascinating one. So, when we talk about UP, and this is very linked to the SDG 4, which focuses on quality education, when we talk about UP, typically 15.51% of students will drop out of secondary school, whereas Gujarat is much higher at 23.84%. In all of this, Chandigarh seems to fare extremely well and is at about 4.52%. Now, I will just tell you one little hint. Remember, the states that fare high on education will typically be also the ones that are wealthier, crime rates are lower. All good things seem to come around places, interestingly, that have good education and good healthcare. All right? Okay. Now, with this, we'll quickly take a look at the scoreboard. It's Darshan, Madan, Vanshika, Devanji, and Naresh. And we'll get into the next question. Another true or false for double points. Kerala records the highest enrollment for higher secondary class. So we're talking about the 11th and 12th standard, and this is across the country. Is this true or false? Okay, so I'm still wondering, the 36 of you who got it right and said it was false, were you thinking this is IFQ, they've asked this question, it must be something else? All right, so just so you know, while Kerala does perform very well in general on uh, a number of factors, including education and the number of doctors, etc., when it comes to the highest enrollment in higher secondary class or higher secondary across the country, Himachal Pradesh, surprise, surprise, is at 81.79%. Kerala comes in after that. In fact, I would say when across states, Chandigarh again does very well. And then Tamil Nadu and Lakshadweep are also in the mix of being the top five. Okay, we'll take a look at the scoreboard and a little bit of a change. It's Vanshika, Sahil, Naresh, Yukta, and Udit. The next question coming up. For every 100 persons in India, X number of people have internet connections. We're talking of internet connections. Is it 35 to every 100 people, 15 to every 100 people, 75 to every 100 people, or 55 to every 100 people? The number of people that have internet connections. Okay, so the 22 of you, I'm wondering whether you guessed it or you knew it, um, got it right. It is 55 out of every 100 people in India have an internet connection or have access to internet. Okay, now the numbers, by the way, change for mobile connections, but we'll come to that later. It's Vanshika, Yukta, Nilab, Vishnu, and Sheetal. She's come with her mask on, so I think she's like really ready to take on the game of facts. Okay, the next one coming up for double points. Out of every 100 Indians, X number of persons do not have a mobile connection. Is it 14 people out of 100, 26 people out of 100, 42 people out of 100, or 7 people out of 100 that do not have a mobile connection? Okay, so 30 of you, and that's a majority, got it right. 84 out of 100 people in the country have mobile connections. And when you talk about internet connections, it's 55 to 100 people. And mobile connections clearly has a much greater penetration. It is 84 for every 100 people, or out of every 100 people that have a mobile connection. So that's really how ubiquitous, and that is really how, um, you know, sort of widespread and accepted it's become. Okay. A bit of a change. It's Vanshika, Yukta, Vishnu, Kaustav, and Druhi. It's a very dynamic scoreboard, so things change pretty quickly. All right. The next question. This state or union territory has the highest density of mobile connections per 100 persons. Is it Goa? Is it Delhi? Is it Chandigarh? Or is it Himachal Pradesh? We're asking the state with the highest density of mobile connections. So here we have it. It's Delhi, which has the highest density of mobile connections per 100 persons. In fact, it exceeds. So there are for every 100 people, there are more than 100 mobile connections. In fact, it's for every 100 people, there are 190.6 mobile connections. You have Goa, which has 177, and then you have Chandigarh and Himachal Pradesh that don't do too bad also. Okay, so it's Vanshika, Yukta, Vishnu, Arko Prava, and Kostav. Arko Prav, I guess, and Kostav. There is one question that we need to address, and Ritesh, thanks for calling that out. So the question really was, how many people are without a connection? I think we'll just have to probably, you're right, we'll probably have to disqualify that question because the option that you got was wrong. So we'll just come to that a little later, and yeah, we'll correct that. Okay. The only state or union territory with more internet subscribers compared to mobile phone connections. So, in general, across the country, we have more mobile phone connections than internet connections. But there is one standout state or union territory where this rule does not apply. Okay, so 17 of you that said Delhi and actually took the cue on that one. You got it right. It is Delhi really that has more internet subscribers to mobile phone connections. So, like I said previously, 190.6 mobile phone connections for every 100 people, and there are nearly 200 internet connections for every 100 people. So, that's a good place to be, and that is probably one place where we'd want the rest of the country to be at as well. Okay, so we'll take a look at the scoreboard, and it's Vanshika, Yukta, Vishnu, Sheetal, and Arkoprav. Y'all are on the scoreboard, so enjoy your little time in the sun. Okay, another true or false coming up, and this one has double points. Maharashtra has more internet subscribers to Punjab. Is this true or false? Okay, so the 33 of you that said it is false, you are correct. In fact, Punjab has more internet subscribers than Maharashtra. Now, it's very easy for us to sort of go with the assumption that, okay, you have cities like Bombay, Pune, etc. So, therefore, um, the internet connections or subscribers must be higher in the state of Maharashtra, but not realizing that actually Punjab, because there is such a high possibly number of uh, immigrants, or we can say that it is a very prosperous state, or it is sort of has the infrastructure for this, clearly lead when it comes to internet subscribers, especially in comparison to Maharashtra. And a little bit of change. It's Vanshika, Yukta, Sheetal, Druhi, and Kevin 007. Okay, the next question. Again, double points for this. This state or union territory generates the highest amount of plastic, not waster, it's waste, in terms of tons per annum. We're talking about 1,000 population or 1,000-person population. Your options are Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Goa, or Delhi. Okay, so with the tourism and with, in spite of being a very developed state, and some of the indicators of Goa are just so strong, but one of the things clearly that it cannot handle is its plastic waste. And Goa, in effect, generates the highest amount of plastic waste in the country. With that, we'll take a look at the scoreboard, and it's Vanshika, Yukta, Vishnu, Nilab, and Raghav Singh. We have the two puzzle questions to go, and there's going to be a little bit of back room tabulation that we're going to do. But we'll very quickly do some course correction, and yeah, so I'm going to rush through the two puzzle questions, and then there's some more work to be done. Okay, the first puzzle coming up. Rank the states or union territories from high to low based on the lives lost due to extreme weather events, or we can simply say it is climate change, because it is climate change. Your options are Kerala, Manipur, Himachal Pradesh, and Arunachal Pradesh. So we qualify extreme weather events as cyclones, cloudbursts, etc. Okay, so clearly some of you did actually get this right, and the puzzle ones are fairly difficult. When it comes to extreme weather events and the states that can really manage the pressure, especially disaster relief, etc., is really a reflection on this particular question. Himachal Pradesh has lost the highest number of people in 2018-19 from when, the period that this was tabulated in extreme weather related events. And then we have Arunachal Pradesh that comes in next. Again, you have landslides, etc. There's sudden freak floods, as we call them, that also are classified in this. In the third place, you have Kerala, where we've had about 136.27 lives lost. And this is, an indicator that is used over 1 crore population. And finally, you have Manipur with 87.17. So this is all data that the government collects and is extremely critical data, especially when we're talking about disaster relief. So Aziz has joined the scoreboard. Apart from that, everything else remains as is. And we have the last puzzle question now. I absolutely love this one, so had to give it double points. We're asking you to rank the states based on the coverage of Aadhaar, or the states that actually have adopted Aadhaar cards. And your options are Assam, Jammu Kashmir, Nagaland, and Bihar. We all know that Aadhaar, when it was introduced, did face some amount of resistance. There was a lot of push by the government, a lot of incentive to actually get your Aadhaar card, and then it kind of plateaued a bit. And then, there was a demand for it from people when they realized a lot of services and welfare schemes are linked to your Aadhaar card. So it just makes sense to have it. And now we're pretty much reaching a situation where quite a few states actually have really 100% coverage of Aadhaar. And that really is the holy grail, in a sense. All right, so here we have it. So Bihar, 86% of its population are covered under Aadhaar. And then we have Jammu Kashmir, where it's 82% of the population. Nagaland has about 61% of the population that have Aadhaar, and Assam fares pretty much the worst with 45% coverage of Aadhaar. Now, that is also linked to the whole citizen, issue that's going on in Assam, and in general, just the uptake. Are people finding it easy? Do they have the documentation, etc., to apply for Aadhaar? All right, so we're going to go to the final scoreboard. Ritesh, thanks so much for pointing out that little mistake over 100, and I don't know where my head was when I put that question, but the number should have been 16. So I'm going to go to the podium. We'll see who the winners are, and then we on our social media, and of course all of you, we will inform you pretty much there and then. Who the winners, if there is any change at all, which it should not be, but if there is any change in the winners. All right. So this week on the podium, in third position, we have Vishnu. In the second position, we have Yukta. And in the number one spot this week, we have Vanshika. May I request, of course, there's Nilab and Aziz. may I request all of you to just please hold on and bear with me for a moment. I am going to go back to Kahoot, just figure out if there's any course correction that has to be done, and we'll be announcing the names of the winners. So if you could please just bear with me, and I'll be back with you very shortly. Okay, so by the looks of it, I think our winners don't really shift much this week. But so, yes, congratulations to Vanshika, to all of you who have won the books this week. Please don't forget to claim your prize. The Google form is in the chat box. Please fill it up, and my sincere apologies for that little delay, but we sorted it out in the back end, and the winners list remains as is. Um, yeah, so thank you all so much for joining us, and look forward to seeing you next week, 5 p.m. on Fridays and 5 p.m. on Saturdays. Thank you all so much for waiting. We had a little glitch and just wanted to make sure that the deserving winners are not shortchanged in any way. And yeah, I think we cross-checked that, so all is good. And look forward to seeing you. In the meantime, don't forget to sign up and register for the Media and Democratization event. And Yukta, the book is a beautiful, beautiful book. It's called Lady Doctors. It covers the lives of six Indian lady doctors from the period of 1830 to the 1930s. It's written by Kavita Rao, and I absolutely love the cover. It is stunning. And yes, if you think it's worth your while, participate in the essay competition, or you can sign up or register for the workshops, and we'll have a lot more of these exciting things going on. Don't forget, SDGs will end of September, but our championships are yet to happen, so lots of exciting stuff coming along. All right, and thank you all. Have a great rest of the weekend, and Take care, and well, COVID's not gone anywhere, so don't forget to take your mask with you whenever you step out. Thanks so much, and bye, everyone.